Well, you're leaving very early this morning, aren't you?
Yeah, I gotta go see April. We gotta get this Michael's business settled. I think she's gonna have to get out of that house deal with those people.
Because you don't think they're honest, is that it?
It's looking more and more like a con game all the time. You see my tie? I thought Oh, here it is.
You care a great deal about April, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
We talked about you, you know, April and I.
Oh, you did? What'd you say? She hasn't told me anything at all.
No, of course not. She's as shy about her feelings as you are about yours.
Well, I put my feelings into words, Geraldine. April hasn't. Not that I blame her, all things considered, but...
Who in the world is that at this hour?
You stay put. I'll find out. Yes, Raven.
Good
God,
morning.
8 o'clock in the morning. What happened? You stay out all night and forget your way home?
Darling, I've been up for hours. Jamie is so adorable at this part of the day that I don't want to spend that time away from him. And then my nurse came, so I came over here.
My. You mean to say, Raven, that you're correcting all your bad habits?
Well, don't you think it's about time? I've been such a naughty girl. But now, since I'm a good mother, my whole schedule has changed.
Yeah, we heard about all your changes. A fresh coat of paint on the nursery, a decent set of clothes for
a new nurse, and she's wonderful, although she's much too expensive.
Tell me, Raven, did you know in advance that welfare woman was coming to visit you? Were you tipped off by somebody like Cliff, perchance, since it was his idea that she do it in the first place?
I did not know a thing about it, but I must say I was thrilled to be able to show her how well Jamie is being treated.
I think I know what it's all about. You're doing this for your mother's benefit, aren't you? All of this exhibition.
It's not an exhibition. This is the real me.
Well, much as I hate to tear myself away from the real you, I got things to do. Geraldine?
Well, that's all right, darling. You run right ahead, because I have to talk to Geraldine anyway. It's about Mother.
Have a good time. See you later. Goodbye, Raven.
Goodbye, Logan.
All right, Raven. What is it you want to say about Nadine?
As you know, Mother's coming into town in a few days.
Yes, I'm perfectly aware of that. As a matter of fact, she's asked me to book a suite for her here at this hotel. So far, I haven't had much luck. Needless to say, I'm looking forward to seeing her, however. As you can well imagine, I'll have a great deal to tell her.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned about is her health. Has she talked to you about it?
No, nothing at all, really.
Well, she's talked to me about it, and quite frankly, I'm worried. Geraldine is very serious. It might be critical.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Raven.
She's been through a great deal of pain internally, and the doctors in London don't know what to do about it. The only thing left is surgery, and of course she doesn't want that.
Well, perhaps it isn't as serious as she thinks.
I think it's psychosomatic. I spent a few months in London, and I saw exactly what was going on. And let me tell you something, their marriage is in dreadful condition. To say that Ansel was unfaithful would be putting it mildly.
I'm sorry, Raven, but that really is none of my business.
But you're her friend. You've been her friend for 30 years. Surely you care enough about her to help her.
Of course I care. And I'm very surprised to find that you care. After all, I seem to recall that you and Ansel... Yes, well, no matter. I'll do what I can for Nadine when I see her.
I think to help her, you should open her eyes. Because she will not believe that that marriage is hopeless. She continues to make excuses for Ansel, and you know the truth.
Yes, I know that. I am not at all blind to Ansel's faults.
So Ansel is carrying on, isn't he?
My dear Ray. To be perfectly blunt about it, your stepfather is the most shameless Lothario I've ever met. Of course, I knew that when Nadine married him, but at the time, I didn't feel I could say anything.
Well, can't you say something now?
After all, Raven, they live in London. What happens there?
But you have friends in London. Surely they tell you things.
Well, yes, some things. I know, for example, that there is a young woman whom Ansel has been keeping for several months. A blonde fashion model.
Oh, really? I never thought Ansel liked blondes.
And then before that, last year, there was a notorious affair with a young actress. A girl barely out of her teens.
You're kidding. I didn't know about that, but it must have been before I went there.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Raven, stop all of this. What happens in that marriage is none of my business. And furthermore, it's none of your business, despite the fact that you are Nadine's daughter. I have no doubt that Nadine knows the truth about Ansel, and somewhere along the line she's made her peace with all of that. The best thing that you can do for her is not overload her with advice, but treat her with kindness and gentleness, especially now when she's not feeling very well.
You're absolutely right. But then you always are, aren't you? Well, thank you. I can't tell you how much your words have meant to me.
Did what?
I am a genius. You know, sometimes I amaze myself. There's nothing I can't do when I really put my mind to it. I should run for president. Actually, I would love being the first woman in the White House.
Okay, tell me all about it.
Remember I told you I wanted to arrange things so that Mother would never think of Geraldine Saxon as her friend again. Mm-hmm. Well, I did it. Or at least I have the raw material.
Go on, let's hear it. You know I'm your humble disciple, Raven.
Hear it, you will. Geraldine, she simply won't believe that her marriage is just plain hopeless. She continues to make one excuse after another for Ansel, and you know that's the truth.
Yes, I know. I'm not at all blind to Ansel's faults.
Something tells me Mrs. Saxon didn't know she was on the air.
No, she definitely didn't.
To put it bluntly, my dear, your stepfather is the most shameless Lothario I've ever met in my life. I knew that when Nadine married him, but at the time I didn't feel I could say anything.
Well, can't you say something now?
For heaven's sake, Raven, they live in London. What goes on there?
But you have friends in London. I'm sure they could tell you things.
Yes. I've heard things. There's a woman that Ansel has been keeping for some months, for example. A blonde fashion model.
Really? I didn't think Ansel cared for blondes.
And then, before that, last year, there was a notorious affair with a young actress. A girl barely out of her teens.
So, you see what a vicious gossip my mother's best friend is. Now all I have to do is doctor this up a little bit, and my mother will see exactly what Geraldine thinks of her and her marriage, and I'm afraid that it will be the end of a beautiful friendship.
Okay, let's hear what this sounds like.
I knew that when Nadine married him, but at the time I really didn't feel I could say anything.
Geraldine, how dare you say such a thing? I thought you were my mother's friend. Terrific.
Are you still fiddling with that damn machine?
Hey, did you bring me my sandwich?
You didn't ask me for a sandwich.
Well, you're so smart, I thought you could read my mind by now.
Well, I wish I could. Then I could figure out why I've been playing with that damned machine for the last half hour.
You know very well why. I'm trying to prove to Mother what a horrible friend she has in Geraldine Saxon.
I don't think that conversation's going to prove anything. Mrs. Saxon sounded very sympathetic to your mother.
She is a meddling old woman, and you know that better than anyone else.
Oh, yes. I'll never forget the morning she let herself into your apartment and found me there, wearing nothing but a sheepish grin.
That's right, so stop defending her. She is a vicious and dangerous woman who would like nothing better than to turn my own mother against me.
She told me your mother was turned against you. She even cut you out of her will.
Will you shut up about that will? Don't mention it. I'm not supposed to know anything about it, remember?
Don't worry, I wasn't intending to have a private conversation with Mrs. Scott.
Well, good, because I never want to see you two together. Okay, I think I'm just about ready.
To do what?
To call Mother again.
It's 6 hours later in London.
Overseas operator, please.
She's probably asleep now.
Yes, operator. I would like to place a collect long-distance call to London, England. It's ringing, but she's not answering.
Maybe she's out.
Mm-mm. Mother always goes to bed early, and she's not feeling well, so she has to be there.
Hello?
Hello, Mother. So there you are. I almost gave up.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Raven, don't you realize what time it is here?
Did I wake you up?
Yes, you woke me. I deliberately went to bed early because I had that early flight in the morning.
What do you mean, flight in the morning? Where are you going to go?
To Monticello, of course. Didn't you receive my cable?
No, I didn't, but then I haven't been home for a few hours.
I decided not to postpone my trip any longer. I'm feeling more rotten than usual. I saw no reason to put it off. I sent a cable to Geraldine. Told her I was coming in to make an appointment with Dr. Stewart.
Mother, Geraldine Saxon is the reason I'm calling you.
What is it?
Look, will you please let me make the appointment with Dr. Stewart? As a matter of fact, why don't you let me make all the arrangements? Because believe me, you do not want to see that woman.
Oh, Raven. Are you starting all this nonsense again? That's what a monster poor Geraldine is. I know you don't like her because your husband is staying with her.
Mother, will you listen to me? The reason I don't like her is because she's a vicious gossip, and she is spreading horrible stories about you and your husband.
I will not listen to that again, Raven.
Yes, I know. You don't believe a word I said. And it really upsets me. It upsets me that you think I lie to you. So I went to see Geraldine.
Raven, we will discuss this tomorrow when I arrive. Or rather, I'll discuss it with Geraldine since I've asked her to meet me at the airport.
Didn't you hear what I just said? I went to see Geraldine, and now I want you to hear what she said to me in her own voice.
What?
All right, I know it was a dirty trick, but I wanted to prove to you that I was telling the truth, so I tape recorded her.
For heaven's sakes,
Mother,
Raven.
if you'll just listen for a couple of minutes, and I think you might change your mind about Mrs. Saxon. Okay? You listening?
Yes, I'm listening.
All right.
To put it bluntly, my dear, your stepfather is the most shameless Lothario I've ever met in my life. I knew that when Nadine married him, but at the time I really didn't feel I could say anything.
Geraldine, how dare you say such a thing? I thought you were my mother's friend.
Then there's a woman in London that Ansel has been keeping for months. A blonde fashion model.
I won't listen to any more of your cheap gossip.
And before that, last year, there was a notorious affair with an actress. The girl was barely out of her teens.
Will you stop it? Geraldine, I'm ashamed of you spreading stories like that all over town, and my poor sick mother thinks you're her friend. So, Mother, have you heard enough?
I simply can't believe this.
So do you still want her to pick you up at the airport tomorrow? So she can ask you all sorts of questions about Ansel?
Dear God.
Mother, look, please let me pick you up. I'll call Geraldine and I'll tell her that you just changed your mind.
All right. I'll be coming in on flight 7 tomorrow. But don't bother calling Geraldine. I'll call her myself. Goodbye.
Wait. Just one more thing. About that story about Ansel and that other girl. Oh, that's not true, is it?
No, it's a vicious lie.
Oh, good. So I'll see you tomorrow at the airport, okay? Have a nice flight.
A vicious lie.
Talk about a sight for sore eyes. There's actually a respectable crowd out there. And there's a line at the bar. If business keeps up, I'm going to charge a cover.
I'm back. And look what I found in that rusty old wine cellar of yours.
I told you to go to Charlie. How did you get down there?
Well, I went to Charlie and I told him that you said I could have the key. Come on, Elliot. I know you keep all your cheap stuff up here.
I see you managed to get one of my most expensive vintages.
But of course, darling. You always say I deserve the best, and I agree. And besides, we need to have a proper celebration. So, are you going to drink out of these champagne glasses, or will you feel more humble if I go out and get a couple of straws?
The glasses will do fine.
Yeah, I thought so. You know what? I think you should invite that Kelly McGrath here for a toast. Woo! Yes! I mean, if it weren't for him and his Poco puppets, I think you would be in a ditch drunk right now.
McGrath is really backing them in. That's true. I think I'll ask Kelly to maybe do 2 performances a night. Then I could charge twice.
You sly thing. To fame and Jamie's fortune. Oh, yes. You know what? I'm really excited about tomorrow. That's what I'm toasting to.
Ah, yes. The tearful reunion with Mama.
That's right. First, I'm going to get her baggage, and then we'll go back to my apartment. And then she'll see her beautiful grandchild, and she'll see the wonderful surroundings that he's being raised in. There's only one thing. Every second that old bat spends in my place is going to be sheer torture.
But then why do you do it?
Because by keeping an eye on dear Mama, I can ensure that she doesn't bump into that meddling old Geraldine Saxon.
Well, the meeting of those 2 minds could upset your little apple cart.
Mm-hmm. But as long as I'm around, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Which means I won't be coming around, right?
Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. It's just that my apartment will be off limits to you as long as Mom's in town. Well, don't be upset. We'll still see each other, huh? We can meet here like we used to. Maybe I'll even invite Mother here for a night out, huh?
So we can wink at each other across a room. How romantic.
Well, just don't stare at me and drool on the table. I'll be so embarrassed.
Get off my lap.
Come on, Elliot. It's only going to be 2 weeks. Just be patient. I don't want her to know about us.
Well, given half the chance, I'd charm the pants off her. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Well, of course. Elliot, I just don't want her to think that another man is responsible for Logan and my breakup.
What's the difference? Your mother hates you anyway. She even cut you out of her will.
Yes, but I'm still Jamie's mother, and Jamie is still very much in the will. Now, look, we are playing for very, very high stakes. So, as awful as it may be, try to understand, okay?
Yes, Ellen. Well, have her wait a minute. I'm busy right now. Give her a magazine.
Chief, look, I'm finished here. I don't want to get in your way anymore.
Well, Helen, it's all right. Send her in now.
Chief, I expect to hear from you as soon as you get that report from Washington.
Chief's honor.
Okay. Have a nice night. Do the best you can.
Hello, Deborah. Thank you for opening the door for me.
Don't mention it.
Why, Chief, you found the perfect job for Detective Saxon. You're going to make a wonderful valet.
Good night, Detective. All right, what do you want?
Well, don't I get a hello kiss?
I'm too busy for that. Come on, what do you want?
I have wonderful news.
Well, make it fast, will you?
You know how much you've been looking forward to meeting my mother.
I know how much you've been looking forward to me meeting your mother.
Well, she's coming in sooner than expected. As a matter of fact, she's going to be here tomorrow. I hope you don't have anything terribly important penciled in on your social calendar.
As a matter of fact, yes, I am supposed to see the mayor in the morning, and then there is that governor's lunch in the afternoon. I had planned on flying to the White House lawn to see the president about foreign affairs later that day.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but you're just going to have to cancel them all because this is much more important.
The last time you told me about this momentous meeting, you said it was still a week off.
Well, Mother was feeling so rotten that she just had to come straight to Monticello and see her personal physician, Dr. Stewart.
Well, if she's feeling so bad, why don't you let her rest? Maybe she needs to adjust to the time change. Stop filling in her calendar. How do you even know she wants to meet me?
Derek, it will do wonders for Mother to meet you first thing. It'll be the best medicine. She can see what an elegant man I'm with.
You just wanted to meet the title.
It's the man I'm interested in.
You want to put on a show for your mother. You would love it if I arrived in a full motorcade with sirens blaring, motorcycles leading the way, me in my dress uniform with heavy metals dangling from my chest.
I love it. I love it. Only one thing. Cut the sirens. I think it would upset Jamie. Come on, Derek. What's wrong with my being impressed that my boyfriend is the chief of...
Boyfriend?
All right. Man friend. Is that better? Come on, Derek. How would you describe our relationship?
Raven, I am just one small entry in that fat little black book of yours. I'm probably not even in volume 1.
Don't you be silly.
Just another string in your bow, or should I say another scalp on your belt.
I haven't scalped you yet. Much to my chagrin. What's your problem?
I'm the shy type.
You know, I believe that's true. That's one of the things that intrigues me about you.
You like a challenge, right?
Well, most men I know are too eager to be scalped. What's wrong with you?
I am not about to be another notch on your bedpost.
I know what it is. Under that mild-mannered exterior, there beats the heart of a tiger. Only you're too afraid to let the beast out of the cage, right?
You think so, huh?
You like me, Derek. I know you do. You like me a lot. You see, I think you're just afraid to let your feelings show. You're afraid that I won't be serious.
Raven, I don't think you're serious about anything.
You want me to prove it to you? I know just the gesture.
Just what might that be?
Well, when my mother comes tomorrow, I'll introduce you not as the chief of police, but as my fiancé. Well, here it is, Mother. Be it ever so humble.
It's very nice, Raven.
Well, it's not exactly a palace, but Jamie and I call it home.
Well, it certainly looks comfortable enough for two.
Mother, look, I told you we can put Jamie's crib in my room and you can sleep in the nursery unless Mother Goose wallpaper keeps you up.
No, the sofa will be fine.
I don't know. Somehow I just can't imagine you sleeping on a sofa.
Please don't worry about it. I'm sure I'll find a hotel suite soon. Raven, may I have a glass of water?
Oh, sure. Just don't go to the Monticello Arms because you're bound to run into that woman.
No. No, I won't stay there. So there's no chance of my encountering Geraldine. I still can't believe she would say those incredible things about me and Ansel.
Oh, she said it all right. And if you don't believe me, I can play this tape for you again.
No, thank you.
But it's much clearer in person than it is over transatlantic phone.
I'm sure it came over very clear. But I still don't understand why she would start these rumors suddenly.
Mother, I hate to tell you this, but it's not all so sudden. Don't you realize Geraldine Saxon has been insanely jealous of you for years?
Jealous? That's ridiculous.
It's true. Look at your lives. You married a very handsome and very successful attorney. You went to London. You live a very glamorous life.
Yes. Lucky me.
And look at her. She has nothing. She's been widowed twice and she has absolutely no family.
Well, I know that Logan is staying with her now.
Yes, isn't that pathetic? But it's very typical of Geraldine. Always adopting new sons. I mean, look at poor Kevin.
She has lost two of her own, you know. The woman has suffered.
That's what I'm saying. That's why she hates you, because
I haven't suffered? Because I'm so happily married. Leading such a gay life. Yes, of course.
Why don't we just forget about Geraldine Saxon?
No. No, I can't. Our friendship goes back 30 years. It can't suddenly be terminated in a matter of minutes, at least not without some discussion. I really should confront Geraldine face to face.
Mother, she'll deny it. But she can't deny this.
Bluntly, my dear, your stepfather is the most shameless Lothario.
Turn it off.
I'm sorry. It's just that I thought this little get-together would perhaps bring the two of us closer.
Raven, you and I haven't been close since I diapered you.
Maybe it was both our faults. Anyway, I haven't showed you my beautiful baby boy. Oh, Mrs. Wong. Okay, here he is. He finally gets a chance to meet Grandma. Raven. You're simply beautiful, Jamie. Isn't he? And this is the wonderful Mrs. Wong. She is such a good baby nurse.
Oh, how do you do, Miss Wong?
How do you do, Mrs. Scott?
You know, she's the #1 nurse in Monticello.
Oh.
I don't believe there are any official rankings.
No, it's true, it's true. She's very good. You can tell by the way he looks.
Oh, he looks just wonderful. He is so precious. Mommy.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the word.
Oh.
Precious.
Well, I won't need these in the hospital. Because I hate the whole idea of it. I've always loathed hospitals. Even you were born at home, you know.
Well, no wonder I'm such a homebody.
I refuse the same suggestion from so many doctors in London. Jeremy Stewart is a very persuasive man.
Mother, I'm sure everything's going to work out for the best. It's probably nothing more than a small virus.
That small virus has kept me in constant pain for 6 months. Well, guess that does it. Oh, well, who knows? Maybe my friend Geraldine is right. Maybe it's all psychosomatic.
Your ex-friend, you mean?
Yes.
Mother, are you allowed to have an after-dinner drink?
No, thank you.
Tell me something. Is there any truth in this gossip that Geraldine's spreading about Ansel and you?
I prefer not to discuss it, Raven.
Of course.
What I would really like to do is to see my little grandson.
Sure. I'll bring him right out. Jamie, Grandmother wants to see you. Here he is.
Oh, hello, Jamie, darling. Hello.
Mommy. Isn't he gorgeous? Come on, Jamie. Give her one of those $1 million smiles. Yes.
Oh, you are so precious, Jamie.
Yes.
Here you go.
You play with your truck?
Now, Raven, tell me about this custody trial. Is there the slightest chance that Logan will win?
Of course not. Why on earth would he?
Well, you and I both know that he is Jamie's natural father.
Well, that's true. And he certainly made sure the whole world knows about it. You know, he's gotten some proof of paternity papers from the court. And he's probably had them bronzed and put on his wall.
But he has no real claim against you.
He certainly doesn't. No judge in his right mind would take a baby away from his mother. Jamie has been with me for a few months, and anyone can see how happy he is.
He certainly looks well. You're obviously taking very good care of him, Raven.
You should talk to his nurse, Mrs. Wong. You know, she's an expert on child care. She even has a degree from a university, and she is very well paid for what she does, believe me.
Raven, when you visited London, I had the distinct impression that you were there to stay.
Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was very confused because of the fight that Logan and I had.
You never told me what that fight was about.
Well, it was just an ordinary marital fight, I guess. I was very angry at him because he was neglecting me and Jamie while he was running for DA's office. And then he turned around and accused me of a bunch of lies.
And if you had stayed in England, what about Jamie?
Well, I would have sent for him, of course. I couldn't have left my little baby all by himself. No, not my precious little baby. I would never leave him. He's my whole life right now.
It's not exactly an ideal life for a baby, is it? A child needs two parents.
Yes, that's true. Mother, if you won't tell anyone, Jamie's going to have two parents.
What?
Yes, you have to swear to secrecy because nobody knows this, but I have met a man. I've met a man that I am absolutely crazy about, and we are unofficially engaged.
Well, this is news.
Yes, I'm very excited. You'll adore him, too. He's not like any other man I've ever met before. Well, of course, he's very attractive, and he's very strong and very stable. He is like a rock of Gibraltar.
And what does this rock of Gibraltar do?
Well, he has a very important job. As important as the district attorney. As a matter of fact, he is the chief of police.
I knew Bill Marceau had retired, but I never did hear anything about his replacement.
Well, of course, he's a lot younger than Bill Marceau. His name is Derek Mallory, and the good thing is you are going to meet him tonight.
I am?
Yes, he should be here pretty soon, as a matter of fact, and he's very anxious to meet you. Only one thing, though. You probably shouldn't say anything about this engagement because I am legally married to Logan, and probably wouldn't be proper to say anything about our marriage yet, right?
I am sorry.
For what?
Making you unhappy about me, that's the last thing I wanted to do.
For the life of me, Logan, I just cannot figure out what's happened between us.
Nothing's happened between us, not really.
How can you say that? Something has gone terribly wrong. I know it. Is it me? Is it something I did? Look at me. Is it something I said? What? I know you, Logan. And you're very honest. And you're usually very consistent. But for some reason, unknown to me, you have been running very hot and cold.
You're right there. I've been having my emotional ups and downs lately.
Yeah, well, I'm a big girl, you know that. And if there's something that happened that made you change your feelings for me, I can handle it.
My feelings haven't changed.
Then why are you avoiding me like the plague?
Look, I explained that. I just had to back off for a little while.
I don't buy it, Logan. There's no reason for you to be afraid of your feelings for me.
Just give me a little time, a little more time. I'll work it out.
Let's work it out together.
You're gonna have to trust me on this. It just has to be this way right now.
You tell me that you love me, and yet you are shutting me out of your life totally, little by little. Is that what you want?
No, God, no.
I know how much you love Jamie, and yet you go and make some stupid promise to Raven to keep me from testifying. Tell me why.
Well, I had my reasons. And I will tell you as soon as I can, but I can't tell you now.
Trial starts next week.
I am well aware of that.
You're also well aware of the glowing report that child welfare expert gave Raven.
Yeah, well, I still have a good chance with the abandonment charge.
Come off it, Logan. Unless I go into that courtroom and tell the judge about Raven's letter, you are not going to get Jamie back.
Well, I'm just going to have to do the best I can.
Listen to me. I know how much you love that little boy, and I am not going to let you lose him.
There is nothing that you can do.
Oh, no? We'll see about that.
What do you mean? What do you have in mind?
You may be a lawyer, Logan Swift, but in this particular instant, you are just a client. It's Cliff Nelson who is the attorney on this case.
Now, wait just a minute, April. If you're doing what I think you're...
You just wait. Let me hear what Cliff has to say.
Nelson residence.
Cliff, is that you?
Usually the butler answers the phone, but he's down restocking the wine cellar. Who's this?
This is April Scott. Listen, Cliff.
April. Oh, I'm sorry. What can I do for you?
It's actually what I can do for you, what I'm going to do for you.
What do you mean?
Well, as Logan's legal counsel, it is your responsibility to do anything and everything you can to see that he wins this custody case. Am I right?
Everything short of bribing the judge, yes.
Well, I know how much you need my testimony, and I insist on being called.
I would love to call you, but I don't think I can.
I'm going to testify, Cliff.
Maybe we better talk this over with Logan.
Clifford Nelson, if you don't call me on that stand, you are as cowardly as your client.
Look, I want to call you, but I don't think the boss would agree.
Obviously, the boss doesn't know what is best for him.
Look, he has been making some strange moves. I'll give you that.
If you lose this case, Cliff, you will be sentencing Jamie to life with Raven. I want you to think about how that will make you feel.
April. I think about that every night. But apparently Raven has some sort of deal with Logan.
Well, you just tell Raven Swift that whatever deal she made with Logan is off.
April, you just made my night. In fact, you just made my case.
Well, when you know the particulars, you just give me a call, okay? I'll see you in court, Cliff. Bye. And I will see you in court, Mr. Swift.
Think, Mother? How do I look?
Lovely, as usual.
This is going to be a perfect evening, I can tell. Oh.
Your young man certainly is punctual.
You are about to meet the man I'm going to marry, and believe me, you will adore him.
Well, I hope he's as enthusiastic about the impending nuptials as you.
Oh, Mother, just one favor you can do for me.
What is it?
Don't bring up the subject of marriage.
Why?
Well, you see, he had a very tragic first marriage, and he wants to marry me, but he's a little shy about it, and of course I'm still married, so...
Of course, I understand. Not a word.
Hello, come in. Don't you look dashing, and look what I have for you.
Oh, you look fantastic.
Hello.
Raven.
Thank you.
Mrs. Scott, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Mother, this is the Chief of Police of Monticello and a very, very dear friend of mine, Derek Mallory.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Mallory.
Oh, please, call me Derek.
Well, why don't we sit down and get comfortable?
Yes, yes. Oh, I trust you had a pleasant trip, Mrs. Scott?
Oh, Nadine, please.
Nadine?
I am one of the original white knuckle flyers. Fortunately, we didn't encounter any great turbulence.
Well, maybe you felt insecure on the plane, but believe me, you can feel very secure in Monticello thanks to Derek and the way he handles his police department.
I must say I'm surprised to see someone so young in such a responsible position.
He's the best-looking chief of police in history, and not only that, he is kind, he's very, very thoughtful, and he is so good with Jamie. He just loves him, don't you?
Oh, Jamie, yes, he's a terrific little kid.
I don't know who that could be. Could you get the two of us a drink? You know what I have.
Sure.
Oh, Raven, I came to deliver a message.
You have no right to just barge in here. I have company, so could you leave?
It's okay, I'll make it short and sweet. It's a message from April Scott.
Derek, you know Cliff.
Sure. How are you, Cliff?
Hello, Derek. I trust you're here on police business.
Mother, this is Cliff Nelson. He is Logan's attorney for the custody trial.
Oh, Mr. Nelson.
I didn't know Raven had a mother.
Cliff and I have a little business to discuss, and it should only take a few minutes, so maybe the two of you could go in there and look at Jamie in the nursery. I'll be there in a little bit.
Come along, Derek. We'll
Sure.
see how my gorgeous grandson is doing.
That'd be nice.
Okay. All right, Nelson, this better be good.
Oh, it is good. For me. April Scott told me to tell you that she will see you in court. And that's a quote. End of business. Have a good dinner.
Wait, what do you mean, see me in court?
It means she doesn't care what kind of deal you made with Logan.
Does she know why I made the deal with Logan?
It doesn't matter. All April knows is that you didn't make any deal with her. She has every intention of testifying. And I have every intention of calling her.
I see.
Oh, mind if I take a canopy? You look as if you lost your appetite.
Good night, Cliff.
Good night, Raven.
I'll tell you what I ought to do. I ought to take this case away from Cliff Nelson and give it to a lawyer who'll do what I say.
You will do no such thing.
I haven't liked the way this case has been handled for a long time, and as for you, oh, you have no idea what's in store for you, not a clue.
You listen to me. I appreciate, but am sick and tired of your trying to protect me. It is not my welfare at stake, but Jamie's. Second of all, as far as Raven is concerned, she deserves everything she is going to get, and I am looking forward to confronting her in court.
Oh, boy. It's really going to hit the fan now. I can feel it.
I can take anything Raven can dish out.
I hope so, April. I hope to God you can.
Logan, we are going to walk into that court, and we are going to make sure that Jamie is brought back where he belongs.
Even with your testimony, we're not exactly out of the woods. Jamie's in pretty good shape
I
these
don't want to
days.
hear about how wonderfully Jamie's being taken
Well, the
care
court is going to want to hear about it. The report that welfare woman is filing, it's going to have a lot of influence.
Logan, Raven put on her good mother act while that lady was snooping around. That's all.
Well, that nurse she's hired, she's wonderful. Impeccable credentials.
So Raven bought herself a hired hand. Does that make her a wonderful mother?
It's going to influence the court.
Is the judge going to award custody due to the fact that Jamie's nursery looks like it was taken out of a decorator's magazine?
It's not going to hurt.
Oh, God. Logan. Raven has put on a flashy front. Down deep, she is still the same vain, rotten mother she ever was, and all we have to do is convince the court of that.
April, you just don't seem to realize that your testimony is about past history, events that took place months ago, while Raven's glowing reports have to do with what's going on right now. Now, we've got a lot to lose, and we stand to gain very little by putting you up there.
If you are trying to make me reconsider, forget about it. I've made up my mind.
I don't want you in the witness chair. They'll tear you to pieces.
Don't you dare get angry with me, Logan Swift. You know we're doing the right thing. You know it as well as I do. Oh, excuse me.
Sure, boy.
Hello.
I got your message, darling.
Well, then we have nothing more to discuss, Raven.
You are making the mistake of your life.
I'm afraid I don't see it that way.
April, if you know what's good for you, you will go to Logan and tell him that you changed your mind.
Oh? Why don't you give me one good reason why I shouldn't take that witness stand, Raven?
All right. I'll give you a terrific reason. Because you will be testifying for a man who has been hiding the truth about your husband. Logan has been very busy behind your pretty little back.
Raven, I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course you don't, because he's been lying to you, or shall I say, been selectively omitting little bits and pieces of some very interesting current events. Has he told you about the autopsy?
April, please, will you let me talk to her now, please?
What autopsy?
The autopsy they performed on Draper's body.
I was Draper's wife. I would have had to agree to any exhumation.
Good lawyers can get around legal technicalities, and that's just what your friend, the district attorney, did on the sly.
Why would he do it?
I don't know. All I know is that somewhere along the line, someone got the notion that the body buried in Draper Scott's grave was not Draper Scott. So, they dug him up, and they performed some tests, and I hope you can get your money back on the flowers for the funeral because you buried the wrong man.
What?
I don't know. Some insurance salesman must be buried in his grave, but it isn't Draper.
You're lying.
Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, just go ask Logan, but I'll see you in court.
All right. What Raven said about the autopsy, is it true?
It's true.